Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of the Terrific Tips podcast. I'm very excited to introduce you to a new friend of mine. She is actually another one of my Women's Prosperity Network sisters. So if you are a business owner and you are looking for some new women to support you and to just love on you and to help give you some insight and some feedback about your business, you want to check out Women's Prosperity Network. They're a great group of amazing powerhouse women that I'm so honored and thankful to call friends and family. So today I have one of those very awesome powerhouse women with us, Miss Monique Blake. And for those of you that don't know Monique, let me introduce her. So for over 23 years, Monique has assisted women to confidently answer the question, the poet Mary Oliver's question. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? What a beautiful question to help people answer. I love it. Now you know why she's on the show. I only have amazing people here. As a trusted educator and life coach, Monique's passion is to blend modern techniques and ancient wisdom to empower individuals to claim their ultimate well-being. She is a certified Clifton Strengths Finder coach with 20 years of executive experience in the education, corporate, and spa settings. She also is NAMA certified in Ayurvedic.
Ayurveda.
Ayurveda.
Yeah.
Ayurveda practitioner. Thank you. And astrologer and tarotist. I will say that Ayurveda does not look like how it sounds. So it threw me off. So Miss Monique's clients love to refer to her as the Oracle. And so we are in the presence of the Oracle today. Do you feel the power? I feel the power. You're emanating power through Zoom today, Miss Monique. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to our show.
Oh, Terry, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure. As you said, our WPN sisters, it's great community, and it's gives you the ability to really communicate and connect with such talented women. Oh my gosh, and such supportive women. So I'm really happy and honored to be here with you today.
Yay. So this is such a unique background in choosing of what it is that you do. Why? Why do you care so much about other people being able to answer that question? What are we doing with this one wild and precious life?
Well, that's a great question. And the first thing that comes to mind is that I was born to do this. So, even when it comes to my name, there's a class that I teach, and one of the activities we do is that we look at our name and what it means. And so my name means advisor, like coach, like advisor. So it was just like, this is what I'm here to do. And what I get really excited about is taking really maybe complex or, unconventional healing concepts and making it truly digestible and practical for people. So, I have what people refer to as like two sides. I have the very corporate background, the very typical traditional approaches to business, and even coaching as a Clifton Strength coach. And then I have what some people refer to as the woo-woo side. And for me, I live very comfortably right in the middle, because the whole point of these deep ancient spiritual wisdoms is to make it practical in your life every single day. And so that's my joy. That's, when somebody has that aha, makes the connection, and they realize that nothing truly is random, and they make that connection and it makes a difference in how they show up. That's what gets me excited. That's why I do what I do.
That's fabulous. And what we all want to have, right? We all want to have that balance of peace and harmony within and without inside of our space. And so that's so amazing that you've been able to find that through tapping into this wisdom that's always been there. You're just paying attention to it and you're taking that wisdom and applying it. What is Ayurveda or Ayurvedic? Ayurvedic? I can't say it right.
You're doing just fine. It's Ayurveda.
Ayurveda. Okay. What is that?
That's a great
Enlighten me.
question. I would, and I know that it's a little bit. My challenge is always doing it in such a short time because Ayurveda is 5,000 plus year modality. It's centuries and centuries and centuries and centuries old. Mm. In fact, it is the oldest continuous medical practice on the planet. It comes from India, and it preceded even written, documentation. It was something that, in the beginning was taught and traditionally passed from, mentor to the student. But to get to the chase, why it's important right now today, particularly in 2020, is that if you break down the word, Ayu means life, Veda means science. And so Ayurveda literally translates to the science of life. And when we throw around the word holistic a lot in our society, but Ayurveda is really, truly holistic, and that it looks at you as an individual, a unique individual with a particular body type. So there are three body types, and we all have our unique expression of those three body types. And then we also look at how you connect with nature. So we're not separate from nature. And we look at how that impacts us on all levels, mind, body, spirit. So it has an impact in everything that you can think of. Just think about these wise men, 5,000 plus years ago with no Netflix, no iPhone, and they had all the time to tap in and connect to nature and get all the wisdom. So every single part of your life is thought through. So even down to what time to go to bed, what time to wake up, what food to eat, what to do in your daily routine to maintain health, what to do when the seasons change. Everything is thought through. There's no second guessing. And the benefit of Ayurveda is that it is both very much a preventive modality, so how you can keep healthy, and it is also curative. There's a whole, part of Ayurveda that's dedicated to making sure that, we can get you back to balance and get you back to health. So it's, 2 minutes talking about Ayurveda is almost a crime of the century.
It sounds like it. It sounds very robust, and that it covers a lot of areas. And particularly in our world today, we're looking for ways to boost our immune systems, to strengthen our wellness so that we can become resilient and more resilient to the illnesses that plague our planet, without the need of chemical support, because we just don't know what's in those chemicals. So trying to figure out the natural way to do it sounds like this is a perfect time. I'm wondering though, where has it been? Why haven't we heard of this? Or have I just not been in the right communities to hear about it? It's something that's been around this long.
It's been around. I think that in the States, it's becoming increasingly popular. And it is becoming a little bit more mainstream. You'll see that there are two particular faces that kind of brought Ayurveda mainstream in this country. One of them is a doctor out in New Mexico. His name is Vasant Lad, a brilliant man. I've had the pleasure of, taking workshops with him. And then a little bit more mainstream is, of course, Deepak Chopra. So you'll see that people are becoming more aware of Ayurveda. In the States, we tend to, culturally, we are looking for quick fixes. Ayurveda is not that. but it is something that is more long lasting in its impacts, as far as keeping you healthy, as you said, making you resilient, boosting your immunity, and also, to help you. Ayurveda is the science of longevity. So it's not only about living a healthy life, but it's also living a life in, where you are radiating this feeling and this energy of health and beauty. So, one of the things that we have in Ayurveda is a very an annual detox.
Okay.
And that detox really is very comprehensive. And one of the goals is not only to make you healthier, make you feel healthier, make you feel stronger, but also to have you age gracefully, right? That
And who
is,
doesn't want that? Hello.
everybody wants that. I mean, it's really, that graceful aging from the inside out. So it's this kind of healthy, this kind of radiance, this kind of vitality that it offers. It's a wonderful science. It's helped me personally. That's usually why so many of our practitioners gravitate to a modality. It's something that has created, a personal healing or a personal impact in their life. And so it's one of those wonderful modalities to even if it's just the little things that you do every day. You may have heard of things like oil pulling for the teeth to keep them healthy and white, or maybe you've heard of dry brushing for the skin as a part of a daily routine.
Have heard of that.
Yes. Okay. So there you go. See, you know a lot more than you say.
Interesting. Okay. So my assistant was just literally last week posting on social media looking for an Ayurveda practitioner. And she is the one who monitors and edits all of well, she doesn't really edit my podcast, but she posts all of my podcasts. And so she'll be listening to this and say, oh, I need to get in touch with Monique. So there's a referral for you.
Perfect. I'm looking forward to talking to her. It's really hard for me to stop talking when we get on the topic of Ayurveda. So I'd be happy to speak with her as well.
Again, it sounds really robust. So since there are so many facets to it and such depth, that I imagine it's quite a lot of study that goes into being a practitioner for that. And then also putting that into your daily practice probably takes a amount of time, because it's new routines and new habits, right? Than what we're used to. So making those shifts, very interesting.
And I really support people with that. For the ultimate goal is success. The ultimate goal is health. And so one of the things that Ayurveda really advocates is making small changes, one small change at a time, so that it becomes a lifestyle. And then a year from now, you look around and like, oh my gosh, I look at where I am, look at where I'm in my health. And I didn't feel overwhelmed at taking on all of this change all of a sudden. A lot of times people say, they get very nervous, especially around food. You're going to take away my favorite stuff. I'm like, maybe it depends on where you are in your health. Maybe it will just be a suggestion that you eat a little bit less of it, or we eat a little bit more of something else to keep you in balance. Maybe it's just for the moment that we're making this change. But ultimately, it's not only about health, but the enjoyment of health. So the enjoyment of doing these little routines. I really offer people different opportunities to incorporate it without them feeling, oh my gosh, where am I going to find another hour in the day to do this? Yeah. So,
Well, and that's what it's all about. When we talk about the balance, it's not about all of a sudden you're doing all of these things and none of those things. Balance is balance. You're doing some of these things and some of those things. Everything in moderation. We in our Western world do not like moderation. We just want to do it all, and we want to do it all right now.
Exactly.
So Monique, as a female business owner, what's been one of in the really unique industry, what's one of the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome in business?
Balance. Right?
Very good. Very good.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. That's one of the things as a business owner is that all of a sudden it's 365 to 24/7. And yes, there is a part of it that we're really excited and enthusiastic about our dream and supporting people. And also it's about making sure that in our quest for that, that we are also fortifying and filling our cup as well. So, the beauty of having all of these modalities in my toolkit is that at least I know what to do. And so it gives me that extra support in etching out this balance. You know that I also do astrology. And so there are things in my chart that I have to be aware of that would make me kind of that workaholic. It's also part of my Ayurvedic body type. So this kind of just awareness really helps me to pause and say, oh, shouldn't this be a break time? Shouldn't this be a time to go take a walk? Shouldn't you be going to bed when eat? So it's this balance that we're always, working towards. There's some days that I get it really, really well done. And there's some days I'm just happy that I get another chance to attempt balance.
I laugh because I feel like you're me. Only
Yes.
you have all of these tools that I've told you that this is who you are. And me, I'm just like, no, I'm just living that life. Like I just, I'll hit the end of the day and be like, so how did that stretch go today? Didn't do that yet. How was that bike ride today? I didn't do that either. Oh, what did you do today? I was on the computer all day.
Yes.
I was on
So,
the phone all day. Yeah. Yeah.
we're all guilty of it. I think the other challenge of being an entrepreneur is that it is kind of isolating. It's lonely. You're a lot of times it is this kind of, it's just you, so one of the real great solutions for that is exactly how we met, is making sure that you're present and participating and connected to groups, supporting groups. You talked about the WPN, the sisterhood. They're amazing for creating different avenues for people to connect.
Yes.
And supporting them with what they're passionate about. So that's definitely, a challenge. I will say that during this very unusual year, that the silver lining in all of it is that it's been amazing to meet so many people,
Yes,
all over the world, that in a regular day to day, in another year outside, previous to this year, I really would never have gotten an opportunity to meet, so many wonderful, incredible people across the world, So,
I
and
love that. I love that you tap into that concept of support and connectivity. We are all humans, and part of the human experience is experiencing other humans. We need other humans to be complete, in oneness, and it's been really challenging with that this year. But finding these groups and these resources that are doing virtual opportunities to meet people from all over the world has been absolutely incredible. And I'm with you. I'm right there with you. I've met some amazing people from all over the world, and I've never met them once in person. We've just done everything through Zoom, and it's been wonderful.
It's going to be great when hugs will be all the rave again.
True. Very true. So you've been a practitioner for some time now, and you obviously have a lot of tools in your tool belt. Are there any tips or habits or techniques that you might be able to share with our listening audience to help them on this journey of personal discovery and connectedness so that they can start along that process of healing themselves?
Yes, I have a lot of tips. I will start with, Ayurveda, um, and kind of go through a couple more. Ayurveda really is focused on taking care of our digestion, because, digestion, everything comes back to gut health. So a great way to just start the day, to hydrate the body, to flush the tissues, is just start the day with a glass of warm or room temperature water that has fresh lemon juice in it. I go through lemons like nobody's business. Exactly, just that. It really helps to just kind of rehydrate the body, flush the tissues, and get you going. Hopefully, going in the right places. Um, and then I love to talk about bowel health as well. So that's, hopefully it will get you going. So
Oh, we have somebody who wants to talk about poop. Okay, we can talk about poop.
that I definitely will not shut up about. So we shouldn't get started. But that's a just easy way to start the day.
Okay.
A great way to end the day is to make sure that you are really preparing for sleep, because sleep is linked to immunity. Sleep is linked to our weight, having a healthy weight. It's linked to our energy. It's linked to so many things. So one of the things I personally do, I am, people always state who they am. I said, I am Monique and I'm an insomniac. And so fortunate, and it's something that it's been all my life. Ayurveda is the thing that really changed that experience for me, so that I can say I'm on the way to being, this great sleeper, and really understanding what I was missing all this life, all my life. It's really great to have a good night's sleep. And so one of the tips that I do and I share with everyone, because we are so focused on working on the computer and watching TV and having our phone in our face, I actually set an alarm for bedtime. So I'm getting, the older I get is the closer I get to my bedtime as a child. I'm almost there now. And honestly,
It's true. It's so
when that
true.
alarm goes off, I start preparing for bed. So no more TV, no more computer, no more phone. Take a nice warm bath. Do some breathing exercises and just relax. And that's a great tip to start the day and end the day.
I love that. And we've heard about this, right? The blue screen, the gamma that comes off of our screens, it does mess with our melatonin levels inside of our body. So we've had doctors from all walks of life that have talked about changing the setting on your phones to block against the blue screens. And I actually have all of my technology block against the blue all the time. So I actually have all of my stuff kind of monitor and filter out some of that blue all the time, because that's actually dehydrating to you throughout the day as well. So if you're a person who's not very good about drinking a lot of water, I didn't used to be, although now I've gotten better. I try and do about 4 of these mason jars a day, which is about 3 cups of water inside of one of these mason jars. So if I do 4 of them a day, I'm right at around 76 to 96 ounces a day. But I didn't used to be that good about my water. And I found that I was so thirsty, like my skin was dry. And I didn't notice it until I had a lady on the show that was talking about the tapping principles and breathing
Yes.
techniques. And she had mentioned the blue screen is actually dehydrating. And so I changed all of my filters that day and I don't feel as dry, which is wonderful. But
Yes.
it affects our sleep For sure.
Yes, exactly.
Caffeine affects our sleep too.
Yes, it does.
Mm.
So there's just so many great tips. Another one that I really love, I do a bi-monthly moon blog that I post. And it's just the reason I post it more than anything is just to let people know that they're not alone. Because a lot of times things are happening in their life and they don't understand why. And a lot of times it's just that they're responding to what's going on in the cosmos.
Mm.
And so that's the beauty of astrology. I tell people that I'm not that I don't, but it's not for me about predicting the future. I'm really about optimizing the present.
Mm.
And when you have that kind of knowledge from astrology, it gives you the opportunity to know, okay, well, this planet is not moving in its typical fashion, so it may create some kind of a little frustration. Everybody's heard of Mercury retrograde, but there are things to do during that time to make the most of it.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you work in the cosmos? How do you work as a part of nature, as a part of the universe, and optimize the present moment?
Hmm.
So there are some really wonderful things happening. Even all of what would happen this year is really our opportunity. There are two planets that were involved, and two main planets, I should say. And it's really just about finding a way to create a new concept for ourselves around power.
Mm.
Creating a new world order for ourselves
Mm.
as spiritual beings going through this human experience. And so everybody has these two planets moving through a certain area of their life. And that's usually where they're called to make this change, to kind of step up into power in those areas.
Hmm.
And it's kind of winding down. Next week we have a solar eclipse. We're going to get a little bit more light, a little bit more information about where we're headed. We have a great conjunction going on the 21st, which is also the winter solstice, and that's when the light returns. And so we're going to get another opportunity to start to feel, like we're a little bit more clarity with all the upheaval and chaos and confusion that happened during this year. Chaos is the place, the birth, is the womb of creativity.
Mm.
So we're bringing into the world a truly new sense of self, and it's our opportunity to level up spiritually, and so we're slowly coming out of it as we get into the holiday season. So we're going to start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. So all of that,
And we're sure it's not a
yeah.
Mac bus coming to run us over.
Or no. I don't make promises, but I feel safe to say that's not what it's about.
So for those of you listening, take a deep breath and have a knowing that clarity is coming soon. Your questions will be answered soon. Just hang in there. It's been an interesting year, but I'm with you. I feel like this year was necessary. It was necessary for Mother Nature to reset and restore. And
Yes.
not just Mother Nature, but human beings. We've followed this technology and this cycle of always being accessible and always being on and work, that we've lost touch with ourselves. We've lost touch with our people who matter the most. We've lost touch with Mother Nature and what we're actually doing to Mother Nature and all of the work that we're creating and all of the technology and all of the things. And I feel like this year was an opportunity to say, wait a minute. Do I really need that though?
I'm going to say amen to that. What you just said, Perfect. Amen.
Right. And those that did say, wait a minute, do I need that though? They came to new realizations. They had an awakening. They changed their direction. They changed their careers. They changed their life, where they live, who they live with, maybe. they changed themselves, right?
Yes.
There's been a lot of that's happened. There's also been a lot of people who've gone the other way, who've said, I'm done. I'm just gonna, Netflix and chill until this is over, right?
We always have choice.
We always have choice. Exactly. So I think it was necessary, and it's very interesting to see that and to hear that the planets and the celestial bodies that make up our solar system, and probably well beyond our solar system, actually played a role in all of this coming to fruition the way that it did this year. And it's not just a lab out of wherever that messed up and let some virus out that wasn't supposed to get out.
Well, I won't speak to that because I don't know, but I will say that nothing is random. We're not a random act, and we're not separate from anything. That is the illusion. And, as you mentioned just a minute ago, that kind of illusion has, brought us to the place where we have now really have to look at what we've done to nature and reconcile with that and take action. And we've done what we've done because we live in this illusion that we're separate from nature, and we're not. So nothing is random. Nothing is separate.
We live in an illusion that we are separate. We are separate from male versus female. We are separate from gay versus straight. We are separate from black versus white. And it's just not true. We are all of these things. We are all of these things because we are all of nature. So we are all of them.
And it's not only not true, it's also not working.
Right?
Right? It's not working.
It's not working. It's really not. Okay. So for our listening audience, what's something that they can do to start preparing for this clarity that's coming?
Love that question, Terry. Thank you so much. That's an awesome question because preparation is always half the game, right?
That's right.
So 2021, when you look at it, it adds up to the year, number 5, and 5 ultimately is about freedom. So next year is about freedom. So I would say to someone who's really interested in preparing for that state of mind is to think about, this is an opportunity we are not going to get again, right? We simply are not going to get this opportunity that we've gotten in 2020. So we need to make the most of it. So this is the time to really let go of what is in any way holding us back from that ultimate feeling of freedom. So I want to just tell you, it's tricky, the number 5, because it's halfway through the numbers, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 4 numbers before 4. So there's a tendency to want to turn back to what we're comfortable with. Those relationships, those patterns, those people, those habits. And if you want to go forward, which is the goal of life, is to move forward, you're going to have to let those things that are no longer working or holding you back stay in the past, turn to your new future and walk towards it. That is freedom. So I would say to yourself during this holiday season, really stop, sit, and take stock of where you would love to have a greater sense of freedom and what you can do right now in this moment as far as preparing and planning to get there. So just take stock. Typically we do this at the end of the year. This year, it's even a little bit more, not a little bit more, it's a lot more important for us to take stock.
That is such a great tip. And I try and do this on a monthly basis anyway. Take stock on looking at the reports, what's happened, what's working, what's not working. Let
Exactly.
go of the things that aren't working, shift them, change them, adjust them, try something new. Because if you're not willing to change, to try something new, then really, are you living?
Right.
Yeah.
You said it perfectly.
I
Yeah.
have great teachers apparently, so thank you. I appreciate that. I'm always learning, so I try and take what I learn and apply it, and if I can be a conduit to help somebody else learn it, that's always my intention, because we learn best by teaching others. So that's what it's all about. Okay,
I
so
agree.
take stock. That's a good tip. Take stock on what is in the direction of where you ultimately want to go, and what isn't in the direction of where you want to go, and let it go. There's that
Yes.
song, it gets stuck in your head all the time. Let it
Let
go.
it go. And ask for support if it's, challenging. I tell people that sometimes we need someone to help us see ourselves better. So we always have that one friend that, tells it like it is. Because sometimes we're living totally unaware of ourselves. One of the things that I'm offering in January is an basic astrology class. And I also teach a tarot class. And the reason I teach a tarot class is because I really want people to learn how to unblock their intuition so that they can really start to tune in and tap into themselves and have a tool that will help them navigate the world. Stop second guessing yourself, stop with the self sabotage, have a tool that will really allow you to build that communication with the universe, whatever you call it, God, the universe,
Mhm,
whatever you choose, however you identify with it,
mhm.
that power. And then the astrology class is just so that you can get a better idea of who you are. I mean, we live in a world where so many people want to inform us as to who we are, how we should look, how we should think, what we should want, what we should strive for. And we are all unique individuals, and that template doesn't work for all of us. And so there's a level of frustration when you're trying to be a round peg and trying to squeeze yourself into a square hole. Um, and if you don't stop and take stock and say, well, this is not me, this is not my journey, this is not my soul path, this is what I'm here to do,
Mm.
it gets you continue those unproductive habits and patterns.
Absolutely. So you just opened me up to a great question. What's the best way for them to get access to that course? How can they get in touch with you?
They can reach out to me. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. My website is being redone right now, but it will be moniqueblake.com, and it should be up by January. So until then, social media is a great place to reach me. I'm actually going to be doing a little holiday, daily tip to start as we move towards the light. So I'll be on Facebook from December 12th to the 21st as we take steps towards the light.
Yay. We're all taking steps towards the light together, and no, this is not a cult if you're just tuning in. We are going to our happy place. Have you ever watched The Good Place?
Yes, I love The Good Place.
It's a great show. But I promise it's not hell in disguise. We actually are as a world moving towards a happier place, a better state of being for all of us. This is wonderful. Monique, if there was something you wish that you knew when you started on this journey, what would that be?
Terry, that's a great question. I think I wish I knew. I think so many of us as entrepreneurs, we come in with what we're passionate about, and we come in with the technical skills to, share that passion, but we don't necessarily have the IT skills. We don't have necessarily the marketing skills.
Mhm.
So I really feel like at this point that should be a part of just school. You take, classes, math, English, you should have a class on entrepreneurship. So that's where I find, what you do so impactful, because no matter how great your talent is, no matter how excited you are about it, if you are not able to kind of optimize and really understand the IT portion or the marketing portion, um, you don't get to touch and connect with all those people who are looking forward to what you have to offer. So I feel for me that's the thing that I would say. I have entrepreneurial skills clearly with my background, but this movement on online is something that is still a learning for me, and
Yeah.
that's the thing I wish I knew a little bit more about before I jumped in. Fortunately, as I said, I have people like yourself who are passionate about those types of skill sets. So I feel very, very happy and supported, knowing that I'm definitely not alone in that regard.
Oh, yes, you're not alone. You're definitely not alone. And I love that. I think that in this time of what's working, what's not working assessment, culture as a whole has come to this realization of, well, there's a lot they don't teach in school. We're not really actually preparing our kids for success. We're not setting them up for the best possible future by teaching them to be a cog in a machine. What
Right.
we need to teach them is how to think. We need to teach them how, like the different things, like all of these skills that you just talked about, accounting, bookkeeping. I mean, when
Yeah.
I was in school, there was home economics. When I was in school, there was keyboarding, there was bookkeeping. We learned those things in high
Yeah.
school. Like that was part of the high school curriculum. That is not part of the high school curriculum anymore. It stopped being part of the high school curriculum right around the year I graduated,
Wow.
which was 2002. Um, but it's interesting that I think there is a demand now that those things are coming back. There's this need to teach our kids where food comes from and teach them how to garden, teach them
Yeah.
how to farm, because that's been out of our curriculum for so long that there's an entire generation or a few that don't know that food doesn't just come from a grocery store. It has to be
Right.
grown, it has to be raised, right? And I really think that this awareness of, our education system really isn't serving us anymore. There's been an awareness of our medical system not really serving us anymore. Now, Obama kind of brought that into fruition for us, that this medical system is broken in the way that it is. And it's still not what it could be. He really laid the foundation for it to start to change, but it hasn't come to fruition yet. And so there's a lot that's still broken in there that needs to be fixed. And this time of rebirth that we've been through in 2020 is really an opportunity for us as a whole, in terms of humankind, to make the decision that these other things are
Yes.
important. And how are we going to pull them back into reality? How are we going to assimilate them into life again so that we can have that balance like we talked about in the beginning of the conversation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed. We're on the same page.
I love it. It's so good. It helps me to know that I'm in the right place if we have the oracle tell me that we're on the same page. I'll receive that. Thank you. Is there any other tip that you can think of that would guide people towards the light in the best positive way that you want to share?
Yeah, it sounds cliche, but really the thing that we're all here to do is to really know ourselves, to really know ourselves and who we are, and what our unique gift is. And so, my tip is to, a lot of times we're not socialized to kind of do this kind of reflective work.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people are hungering for it. So my suggestion as we move towards the light is, in order to get clear and to um, see the light, we really want to know ourselves as much as we can. And this is a lifelong process. I feel that for many people, 2020 allowed them to peel back several layers, much faster, much more swiftly, than any other time. So just spending a little bit more time kind of looking at yourself, really start dreaming out aloud.
Mm.
Give yourself permission to say what it is that you have always, you know, dreamt of doing, whatever it is. One of the things that I've been saying for so long, and I now I'm thinking about wherever I get to next, wherever my next step, it has to be a place that has a lot more nature. I've discovered how important that is for me. And if I want to be a beekeeper, which is my secret dream that I'm telling you, you know,
Oh, we got the insider knowledge now. Yeah.
now you know, then I have to be somewhere that would support that kind of, those kinds of house guests, or, yard guests.
Our guests.
So,
Hopefully you don't have them in your house. That'd be a
yeah,
nice.
hopefully not. So, it's really getting clear. So now that we're moving towards the light and taking steps towards the light, we know where we want to go.
Mhm.
Right? It's one thing just moving towards the light. That's great. It's feel wonderful. It gives us a sense of lightness, not only brightness, but lightness. But it's also more impactful when we're clear about what we want to bring into the light. When we step into it, what are we bringing? What are we envisioning? What are we, you know, creating for ourselves? So that would be my tip. It kind of sounds very um, general, but it's not. It really is specific. It's just about sitting down and having that conversation with yourself, thinking about what would give you the greatest sense of freedom, what would give you the greatest strength of clarity, what would make you feel connected, what would give you a sense of belonging, what would make you feel inspired and excited, and what would create this level of celebration.
Mm.
Um, that would be the tip. Think about that as you step into the light.
Those are wonderful, wonderful questions to ask yourself. And so, those of you listening, I urge you to back this up just a couple of minutes and re listen to those questions. Write them down as she's saying them, and then allow yourself the time to really embody one question at a time so that you can come up with the answers for yourself. These are not questions that you're asking of your friends or your family. These are questions that you ask yourself, because
Yes.
this journey is an inside out job. It's totally up to you inside first, and then how it transpires and radiates out of you is what happens after you've gone through the development. So
Absolutely.
take that, write those down. I know I will be writing those down and asking those questions myself. I've done a lot of personal development and journey this year, but there's always more to do. So thank you, Monique, so much for all of your tips, your guidance, your wisdom today. I so appreciate everything that you've shared. The time that you've taken with us has been just absolutely incredible. Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's been my honor. This has been not only my honor, it's been fun. I love when I get to laugh in an interview. So that's how I know it's been a great, great opportunity and a great, great interview. So thank you for the time. Thank you for the laughs. And I want to personally wish you all the best for 2021 as you get on the path to freedom.
Thank you so much. And for those of you listening, let us know that this content is serving you. Like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. Shoot me a message. Let me know this content is helping you and you want to keep hearing more content like this so that we can keep bringing amazing guests like Monique here to the show for you, because this show is all about you. This isn't about me. This was gifted to me to share with you. So thank you for listening. And until next time.